Hello, chat. Hopefully you can hear me. Hopefully everything is working properly. Sorry that I'm late. I'm late for a couple of reasons. So apologies. Firstly, Bobicus! Hello! Welcome. Arcarbade, I do not think I can say your name properly. Oh my goodness. Hello, welcome. That looks like it is possibly Gaelic question mark. So if you could tell me how to say it, I'd appreciate it. I don't want to murder your name. Welcome. Hello. Sorry that I'm late. I'm late for a couple of reasons. First, my power went out this morning. Fun times always. It was only out for about 20 minutes, thankfully, but I don't work on a laptop anymore, so first there was a lot of panic, but luckily I have trained myself to hit the save button quite often, so no changes were lost, but just I was working on something I couldn't just switch to my iPad for. And second, I have done something to my foot. I'm not entirely sure what. I do think I've got a pinched nerve, so if I'm a little bit more, squirmy, I guess, if I move around a bit more, if I go off frame a bit more on today's stream, or if I'm AFK a little bit longer, I apologize. It's just because I'm trying to take care of my foot. I'm trying to keep it elevated. I move a bit slower, but also I had to ice my foot before the stream here, so I apologize for being a bit late, but I'm trying to ice my foot 4 times a day. It's really helping with the swelling. It's nothing like too horrible. I can walk. I'm doing a bit better than I was a few days ago, but I've clearly pinched a nerve somehow, so I'm just trying to do everything that I possibly can to release that before it gets really bad. The last word is pronounced fiache. Is it fiache or fiake? But really quickly. Hi, Meme Potter, how are you? Or ack, I guess. Fiac. Ah, okay. That makes sense. Fiac. So is it Carbade Fiac? Is that how I say it? I know very, very little Gaelic. Just enough to know that I don't know anything. So, thank you for the guidance. How are you today, friends? I hope none of you have pinched nerves anywhere because they suck. Also, I'm sitting a little wonky in my chair, so I don't know if I'm going to be as good in frame as I usually am. See there, I'm already being very squirmy. So I apologize. But I am trying to sit in a way that won't put any more pressure on. I'm unfortunately not entirely sure where I pinched the nerve, if it's in my knee or my ankle. So I'm just kind of trying to take care of both until it releases. I had several years ago, before either Ghost or I started streaming, I actually had a pinched nerve in my elbow, so I kind of know what I'm dealing with. I know to essentially take ibuprofen, ice regularly, and try not to put any pressure on the areas that might be pinched. I can sort of feel when the pinch releases, so it's not like fully cut off, like I'm not fully numb, but if I suddenly jump or swear, it's because I moved my foot in a way that really hurts. So I'll try not to do that, but I apologize in advance if it happens. Just call me Carbade. It's a lot easier. I can do that. How are you, my friend? And what brings you with us today? I pitched my sciatic nerve recently. Oh no, that's a big one. I don't think I got that one. I think it's either the tarsal nerve or I think it's, plantar nerve. How would you pronounce it again? It starts with a P. These are both nerves that are in your feet. I know the sciatic nerve really hurts if you aggravate it. What was it called? I was looking up nerves. The peroneal nerve, Peroneal. So it's either that one or the tarsal nerve. I'm not entirely sure which. One runs under the foot and one runs over the foot. And so I am not entirely sure because I know all about the arm nerves because I had pinched a nerve there before, but I'm just basically trying not to move my toes too suddenly in one direction because that moving my toes upward seems to be what triggers the pain. And I'm just trying to stay off my foot, walk a bit lightly. But yeah, Barefoot Turtle, welcome, hello, and I hope that your sciatic nerve is doing better, and I hope that doesn't happen again, because that sounds youch. Motivated to write now that there's no more fuss in front of my house. Nice! Meme Potter, I'm glad to hear that. I'm good, just saw notification in Ghost Discord. Oh, nice! Yes, I share Ghost Discord with him. The Strikers Library portion is sort of my area, but we both use all of everywhere. And I am Ghost's lovely wife, if you haven't met me before. And Ghost is in school today. He's gone back to school this week, but I believe he's planning on streaming this evening, so that'll be fun. I'm not sure what he's going to work on. There's been talk of some whiskey and world building. Something similar to what I'm doing, except his is going to be for D&D, and mine is for a novel. Much better now, but when I had it, I couldn't walk at all. I imagine. It's not... I didn't have carpal tunnel, which is the most commonly known one. I had cubital tunnel, which is the same. It's basically... there are two nerves that run through your elbow. The carpal nerve and the cubital nerve. The carpal nerve controls these two fingers... or possibly these three. And then the cubital nerve is the last two or three. It's basically one half and the other half. And I pinched the nerve that controls this half of your hand. So basically, my fingers went numb. It was very bizarre. It was a little bit painful, but I had pinched it so much that I basically couldn't feel anything in those fingers. I went to my doctor. She gave me some lifestyle advice. We created for me a more ergonomic workspace. And I've become very conscious of ergonomic workspace since then. And I was able to, it took about a month. So it wasn't fun, but I was able to eventually release the pinch on the nerve. And man, when it started to come undone, like when I started to get feeling in my hand again, it was raw. It was that if you know the feeling of a limb falling asleep and how you get that sort of gentle pins and needles sensation, it was like that on steroids. Like it felt like very painful pins and needles constantly until I sort of got used to having feeling in that area again, because the nerve had been essentially cut off for so long. So I kind of know what to look for with my foot. I kind of know what to expect. I know that when it gets a little bit painful, sorry, my pillow fell over. My foot pillow fell over. When it gets a little bit painful, I know that it's not necessarily the worst thing. But I'm really looking forward to not having a pinched nerve in my foot anymore. That would be kind of nice. It sounds massively inconvenient. It is. It's not fun. Oh, thank you so much, Carbade, for the follow. I really appreciate it. It's not the most fun. And I know that the nerve pinch I had wasn't even like the worst. Sometimes when you get a nerve pinch, it can be incredibly painful and like for long periods of time. So I've been considering myself pretty lucky that that was my experience with it, and I recognize what's going on with my foot, so I caught this pretty early, and hopefully that's going to help me not have too much pain for too long. I think I might have had something like that before, not to that extent though. Yeah, it's just with my arm, it was because I was holding my arm in an awkward position and I was typing for like 10 to 14 hours a day. Apparently, that's all it can take sometimes. That's what repetitive strain injuries are. I don't know what I did to my foot, and because there's a nerve pinch, I'm convinced that I must have done something. Oh my gosh, Sable! Hello! thank you so much for the raid, and Aaron as well, because I know you guys are streaming together. Prepare to be boarded, my friends. How are you? Book Gravy, hello. Moonflower, hello. How are you? We're just talking about how I did something to my foot, and I don't even know. I know that I had to have done something, because usually, at least with my arm, when I pinched the nerve there, it was because I was doing something. I was holding my body in a way that was uncomfortable without realizing it. So I must have done something similar with my foot. I must have been walking awkwardly, or I'm half convinced that because I have a little bit of a swollen area on my toe, I'm half convinced that I slammed my foot into something and didn't realize that I did it until later. So whatever I did, I'm trying to undo it, and that's why I'm late to stream today. Daz, hello. Aaron, hey, how are you? Sable, how are you? How did it go? How did the rest of your stream go? I was lurking for quite a while. I had to go feed myself, so I got quiet. But I love hanging out in your guys' streams. It's always so chill. I guess I should actually start talking about what I'm here to do. So if anyone was on any of my streams last week, it was fun to send it into complete RP chaos. I noticed, but I love that. I just love it when people feel comfortable with, you know, being themselves in a space. That's how you know you've created a really super chill space. I can't help it. Good. I mean, honestly, that's when when the boob conversation happened, I was like, that's it. That's how I know I've found my people. I have literally no context on your projects. That's true. I guess I should talk about what I do here. I'm a science fiction and fantasy writer. If you hit the exclamation books, you can actually bring up the link to my books on Amazon. Right now we're working on a fantasy project, but I also have a sci-fi space opera that I am currently publishing. The next installment of that is coming out in October. So look forward to that. And I actually, if you were on my streams last week, I promised I was going to start a brand new project and I was going to stream basically the whole process. So last week, we started working on this project, working title, Everyone's Child. I might change that, I might keep it. It's just, I always have a working title for my projects that I remember them by. Sometimes it causes me trouble because I named a project Maids and Twitch chat found out about it and took it out of context, and now... now it is what it is. But sometimes the working title becomes the active title and sometimes they change it. But currently called Everyone's Child. We created all of the characters, all of the main characters, I should say, for the project last week on stream. And today we're going to start with some of the world building and really start digging into like the meat and potatoes of this world to try and make it feel real before I actually start playing around in it. So, the breast speech was amazeballs. It really was. And just the fact that everyone, like, no one hesitated. Everyone was just like, yes, this is the conversation we're having right now. It was the best of times, really, honestly. Hey, Tempest, how are you? So yeah, basically these streams are me doing my, all the things I usually do, all my scribbles that I usually do, like, behind the scenes before I start writing, but out loud. So if I sound a little crazier than usual, you know why. This is basically the document where I keep all of my notes. And if I make it a little bit smaller, you can see these are the characters that we did. We came up with all of these. We talked through all of these on stream. And we came up with all of these last week. And now I have a couple of groups. And I think when we do the Mage Council, I'm actually going to start writing about how magic works. So I'm hoping to do that today. I'm actually hoping to sort of create the magic system for this particular story, because I write a lot of different fantasy stories and I kind of like to have a different magic system for each to make them feel a little bit more unique. And we've already sort of started dividing magic into schools for this world, so I'm really interested to sort of get into that. Did I see Beastmaster? Yes! One of our characters is... So what's really fun is that I wanted to have some characters that were like full concept characters, right? So they're basically these 3 knights that are sleeping that our main character is going to encounter. And they're sort of like celestial beings that embody full concepts. And really what I wanted was for one of them, this one here, Tetrasail, I wanted like a full biblical angel concept. Like they have a form that is basically just wings everywhere. Because like, I was like, these are celestial beings, right? They don't necessarily comprehend or reflect the world the way we do. And one of them is a Beastmaster, and they actually have a Beastmaster form, and it's not like a specific beast. It's kind of like a mix of all types of beasts. So these characters were really fun to play around with and get some concepts for. And I think Skrillex might end up being my favorite, just because I really like that sort of druidy nature connection. So I'm really looking forward to that. Like Man Bear Pig? Yes, like Man Bear Pig. You might want to get a joke reduction with that pun. Usually it's Ghost who cracks those jokes, so I'm just proud. Although someone had already cracked that joke in chat, so I was kind of just repeating it. World building is always the best part. I know. I could spend my whole life world building, but then I would never write any like stories. So I try to limit myself to certain times that I work on world building. But now is one of those times, which is super exciting. So I do have, normally I have a template that I use for my characters, which is, what do I have in my minor one, actually? I might need a bigger, so I actually have, these are templates that I use for my note-taking. The NPC chart is for like minor characters who get name dropped like once or twice, so that I can keep track of them and possibly reuse them later. And so that I don't accidentally keep giving them the same name, which I've done before. And then I have a template that I use for people. I might actually, and then so this is the one that I use for countries. I might use this one. I'd have to cut it down because I'm creating sort of groups, but they're not necessarily countries or governments. But this might actually work really well. And then I have my book outlines. So maybe instead of because I'd have to completely change the person one. So maybe we'll stick with this and just delete the ones that we don't need. Oops. That's a different project. So this is a high fantasy story. It's mostly going to center around magic, and I don't know that it's necessarily going to be a specifically medieval world, but it's definitely not necessarily modern. There's no modern technology. And the two groups that we're going to work on today are the Watchers, which I've explained are a cult. They don't present themselves as a cult. They're not like, hi, how are you? We're a cult, but they are a cult. And I'm going to start with them. I'm going to start with building some of their ethics and practices. And then we also have the Mage Council, who are sort of in charge of, they're not necessarily a country or like a kingdom, but they sort of govern all of the mages in this world. So we're going to build a little bit out about them. There's a lot of ways to do magic. You could have it be an external force that you can draw from. It could be ancestral. It could be everyone has a certain amount. And any can, it could be an avatar with bending. You could have magic runes. Yeah, there's lots of different choices. And that's why I like to do different magic styles and different stories. And I like to try and kind of have rules for that before I start writing, because otherwise, I've learned that otherwise, if I don't have a set of rules for my magic beforehand, I just have my characters do whatever, and then later I have to go and limit them somehow, and I'm like, how am I going to limit this? I basically already let my characters do whatever. Like Scientologists. Yeah, they're basically the Scientologists of this world. That's actually very apt. I love this already. Oh, thank you. Yeah, magic systems are, aside from like creating like countries and maps and stuff, I think magic systems are my favorite thing to do, because again, there are so many possibilities, and I want to try to challenge myself to do something different. So in my Eternity's Empire series, every mage sort of had a focus that they would use to channel their magic through in order to make their magic work. And for many mages, these ended up being weapons. So like one of the characters was an archer and her mage focus was essentially her bow. And one of the characters throughout the course of the story shattered their mage focus, which caused them problems and made it very difficult for them to do magic. So I probably won't do anything like that with this magic system, but I've already started to think it would be really interesting if people carried magical sources with them and if the source was based on their school of magic. So for example, if you are an Earth School mage, you would carry maybe crystals or certain types of rocks, and you would sort of use them to gather magic from the environment, and whenever you wanted to use your particular magic, you would draw from the source, and then you would recharge the source over time in various different ways. I haven't figured out what all of the sources would be, but it would be really cool if it was things like if air mages carried feathers or something like that, and if the more rare the feather or the more magical the creature the feather came from, the more powerful the magic you can do with it. So not quite like components in D&D where the components get used up by the spell, but something similar, like having to have essentially an item that you charge, and then when you draw your magic, you're drawing it from that specific source that you've created. I'm sort of playing around with that idea. I haven't really refined it yet, but I like it. Shoot me a DM if you need help. Thank you. I will. I'm gonna probably talk it out a bit on stream today, but I don't really know what will come together. Hey, Ashley Robin, how are you? What is up? Have I done blood magic? I haven't done blood magic yet. I don't know if it will fit with this setting, but it is something I want to play around with at some point in time. I have ideas. I have a homebrew D&D world with 4 categories of magic that all work completely differently. That sounds amazing! Wanted to ask, does anyone here have any experience with web novel and their contracts? I don't. I haven't heard of web novel, but if anyone has, please let us know. Favorite kind of magic is blood magic. Nice. Nice. I did very briefly touch on blood magic in Eternity's Empire, but it was kind of off screen, if that makes sense. Like, the characters encountered the results of blood magic being done, but they didn't see it actually happen. And it's something I'd like to play around with a bit more in the future. I don't know if it would fit in this setting, but maybe it will. Yeah, no, just so many possibilities. And actually sometimes the hardest thing is figuring out what fits in what world, right? Because I actually have so many projects that are on tap that I haven't even started yet, that sometimes I get an idea and I'm like, no, wait, that would work better over here. But right now we're gonna build a cult. Let's build a cult. I don't know if any of you guys have been playing Cult of the Lamb recently. Words hard. Ghost and I really got into it, and it's a super fun game. It's super creepy, but super cute. So let's build a cult. I finished the first draft of the first part of my novel, and now I'm taking a break from it by writing a story about a dude named Justin who learns they can speak to the gods and do witchcraft almost intuitively. That sounds amazing, but also terrifying. Oh, she's about to figure out that she's trans. It's a gay witch story. Oh, I saw you talking a little bit about that in Sable's chat. That sounds amazing. I love Cult of the Lamb. Gala, I'm not surprised. That game seems right up your alley. I, in my cult, took the marriage ritual so that I could marry members of my cult. You don't marry your cult to each other. You marry them to you. And I created a little character for Ghost Pepper, a cute little fox, a cute little red fox, and I married him, and then I caught him smooching one of the other members of the cult, and I was like, excuse me, that's my spouse you're smooching. They made Animal Crossing into a horror game. They kind of did. Oh, is it super hot in your neck of the woods, Woof? I mean, I'm not surprised considering I know your neck of the woods, but the book editor, hello! Thank you so much for the raid! Oh my gosh, you guys. Oh my gosh, I just realized I never even gave a shout out for Sable. I gotta fix that. So let's get a shout out for Sable and a shout out for the book editor. Welcome, Raiders! Alba, is it Laosh? Did I say that right? It looks Gaelic again. Hello, welcome! Incoming, duck and cover! Katya, hello! Unsubtle Silk, hello? I think I've messed up your name before. I seem to recall. kill Ghost Pepper for smooching another member of the... Do I kill my spouse for smooching another member of the cult, or do I kill the other member of the cult for smooching my spouse? The 4 categories are arcane, which is the typical wizard stuff, like lightning and fireballs, makes sense. Divine magic, which is really just being gifted power by a higher being. Nature magic, which joins from life itself and the natural order. And chaos magic, ooh, that sounds fun, which summons spells from every other category. Nice. Katya, thank you so much for the follow. I was so excited, Sable, that you guys came into the chat that I totally forgot how streams even work. I'm not gonna lie. It's just like, people are here! He was complicit, killed Ghost Pepper. You would say that, Woof. The closest anyone has been. Like I said when Carbade came in, I know just enough about Gaelic to sort of recognize it and to instantly know that it's not going to be said the way I think it's going to be said. I got it! Thank you. If I didn't get it, please correct me, Alba, but thank you so much. I'm excited. You killed Ghost Pepper. He's the one that made the commitment. That's true. That is true. And I think because the other person, by the way, who smooched Ghost Pepper was Vinyl Stencil, another friend of ours on stream. I think she was dead at the time that I married Ghost Pepper, because you can raise your followers from the dead in that game, too. Chaos magic is one of the best magics. I agree. Hey, Supernatural, how are you? I was lurking in your stream earlier, and I saw you were doing a mega workout, and I applaud you, because I can't do half of that stuff. The Chaos Gods say, fuck your gods, you coward priest. Indeed. Yes, Cult of the Lamb is a game that I'm talking about. Not my... I am married to Ghost Pepper, the streamer, in real life, but he has never smooched our friend Vinyl Stencil. He's a sweetheart, and I would never plot his murder in real life. Wink, wink. You can have multiple spouses in Cult of the Lamb, so I'm considering marrying Vinyl as well. The stream is getting dark for a second. Very true. Ghost is a sweetheart to me, Woof. So we're not gonna do biology because this isn't actually a country. There's no actual, there's no specific races. They take members of all types, and we've established that kind of all fantasy races live in this sort of, like all of your typical fantasy races live in this world. So we don't have to do that, but ethics and moral values is a really good place to start since this is essentially a cult. And so you would never, but if you need help, let me know. Squanchy, thank you. Also, how are you? How is everyone? I know I've not greeted everyone. I'm so sorry. I'm not used to chat moving this fast, in all honesty, so I'm just trying to make sure I keep up with everything. If I miss something, please repeat. I don't mind at all. Don't like the dark, get out of the Batman film. How many types of magic do you plan on making? I know you said earth is one. So I believe we established the schools of magic as elemental, so there's earth, air, fire, water, and then we lumped light and shadow together because it's not good evil. It's sort of the manipulation of light and shadow are sort of the same thing. And then there's force magic, which is sort of like your defensive spells, like your force shields, and that kind of stuff, like your typical just like generic mage blasting, that kind of stuff. And we established that it's primarily defensive, but that's kind of all we've done so far. Horse magic sounds like fun. I don't know what that would get lumped into. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I talked a little bit about this cult last week, but basically the Watchers are a group of people who essentially believe that they are the protectors of fate. They believe that the world is supposed to have a specific way in which, how do I word this? They essentially believe that there is a destiny for the world, and that everything is supposed to turn out a specific way, and that they are the keepers of that path, that they alone know what is supposed to happen and who is supposed to do what. And so they essentially are collecting mages, powerful mages, that they train in a specific way. And they're sort of breaking the norms of most of the ways that the other schools of magic work. And they are telling these people that they are gods and goddesses in training, that they are essentially becoming deities and becoming the patron deities of this world. You can start to see why they are a cult. And they basically interfere with the normal affairs of people and kingdoms in order to try to bring about a specific event chain that they think is the fate of the world. So their ethics and moral values would be that they believe in one specific outcome for the world, that they believe everything is supposed to unfold the same way. If you saw like the Loki show in Marvel, kind of like that, where they had like the essentially the time police who were like protecting the timeline. It's kind of the same kind of idea, except they don't have any like official backing except for themselves. You may have fireballs. I have literally donkey punch. Like the dark, I bathe in it. I was born from the void. I'm a presence at the end of the light. Nice. I live in the void butt. Moral values, shitty people. No, you're not wrong. Been busy, Squanchy, still rushing work and also unexpected things to attend to. I hope things settle down for you a bit, Squanchy, so that you can relax. I feel like I'm missing so much in chat, my goodness. We need to watch the movie Time Cop. Yeah, I don't think I've seen Time Cop. Alright, so they believe in an ultimate fate. Extend this a little. I am the stars and the spaces between the stars. I am Steve from HR. Steve from HR, have you been to the stars and the spaces between the stars? Because some really cool people there. Just saying. I don't necessarily want to call it like the divine timeline, but that's probably going to come up at some point. All right, so this isn't extremely long, but I think this is the gist of it. Essentially, the Watchers believe in an ultimate fate for the world. They are the keepers of it. They think they're the only people that understand. They're the only people who know how to get there. And they consider themselves the ultimate authority on what is supposed to happen to each country and each individual, and may exert their power and influence at any time and to any degree in order to safeguard and protect the proper state of affairs. So they believe that no action is too extreme and that they can essentially do whatever they want, that is up to their discretion to use whatever level of force is necessary to make sure that fate goes as planned. So they're not necessarily always going to be doing good things, and they're not necessarily going to care if they hurt people along the way. The divine line, the divine timeline, the cosmic chronicalization of all time. I mean, chaos with this crew, we fully embrace it. The void farted me out. Do I get a say in this? I think Sable would be able to. Sable has some experience with the void. She might be able to answer that question. All right, so family. This is actually a good section too, because when members join the Watchers, they shed all outside ties with the outside world. So they are no longer... Oops, sorry, I'm eating Skittles. I shouldn't be doing that on stream, but I am. They consider themselves to have no family, no political, no national ties to anything except for the Watchers. They essentially have to shed bias in order to be able to protect the timeline, the divine timeline, the ultimate fate, whatever. And so their only family is the cult. And even that is like, really, it's all about getting higher in the cult. So loyalty to your fellow Watchers is not necessarily a thing unless they're your superior. You want to impress your superiors. You want to outshine your peers. That's basically their philosophy. Are they celibate? No, they're not celibate. It's not that kind of cult. They don't consider themselves a religion, but they basically are. But no, they're allowed to like fraternize among themselves as long as it doesn't interfere with the ultimate fate. If they interact with someone outside the Watchers and create a baby that wasn't supposed to happen, that's trouble. That's trouble, Squanchy. It's like a corporate family. Exactly. That's a good babe for the timeline name. They do it among themselves, exactly. More members for the cult, essentially. So... I keep forgetting to capitalize it. I try to make sure that my world building comes out in full sentences, but sometimes it doesn't really. I just forgot promotion. That's the word. I just forgot the word promotion. It just flew out of my brain. If they do it among themselves, then you know for a fact there's going to be some inbred sort of business at some point. Oh, probably. It's not a pyramid, it's just shaped like a pyramid. It's just a triangle. It's not a pyramid, it's just a boxy waffle cone. Yummy. I'm actually surprised at the lack of cults I decided to put in my D&D campaign. They eventually got made into the fractal earth that births new continents into the oceans every now and then. That sounds weird but amazing. Not a pyramid, just a semicircle with a point at the top. An ice cream cone. I'm getting ice cream cone out of this. I forget language every now and then. It's, oh my god, the struggle is real sometimes where you're like, I know that the word I'm trying to write exists, but I've forgotten what it is. I just don't know language anymore. Ghost used to share an office with me, and I would just turn around to him and I would be like, what's the word for when, like... But then you have to try and describe the word without saying the word because you don't know the word, and he would just look at me like, what are you talking about? Who are you? And why are you like this? I don't like pyramid schemes. I prefer the term triangular opportunity. Nice. I forget how to breathe every now and then. I think I would. If there are some things that if they didn't happen automatically, I would just be like, oh, I haven't done that. Like, I forget to eat. So I think if my body didn't like self-regulate, I would be in trouble. So each member of one's rank is considered in competition with others for potential promotion. I'm basically just writing down everything that I've said, so, I'm not sure, government, I'm not sure exactly who leads the Watchers. This is something that I should probably figure out before I start writing the story, but I'm not too worried about not knowing it right now. I'm thinking that it is a core group that call themselves gods and goddesses. These are the most powerful, highest ranking members of the Watchers. I should probably decide how many there are. I don't know if there's a significance to the number. I'm thinking maybe 7. I don't know why 7. Just a number that popped into my head. I'm thinking they probably keep it at an odd number in order to... If there's a vote, there's no need to tie break, right? Because there's an odd number of them. Someone's always gonna come out above the other. I'm wondering if the people who think they are at the highest level of the cult are not actually at the highest level of the cult. 7.35, exactly, Woof. The 0.35 is a guy whose head they keep in a jar. Would the Watchers be a council? I think that the people who are at the top are a very small council of, like, they kind of, like a cabal, I guess. They kind of make all the decisions for everybody. But again, I'm wondering if there isn't some force or figure in the shadows. In fact, I know there's some force or figure in the shadows. This will make sense to exactly, I think, one person in chat. Because I know that the symbol of the Watchers is an hourglass. And I know that they have a specific hourglass that they keep hidden in their sanctum, from which the core power for essentially the highest level of them flows. This is significant to me. If you'd like it to be significant to you, you'll have to read my books. Make the cult structure so complicated they don't actually know who the leader is. Right, exactly. Like, even the people who are at the top, I think, don't entirely know what's going on. I make it really complicated, so instead of being a pyramid, it's an hourglass scheme. They believe there's a leader, but there actually isn't. There is something in the shadows that is manipulating them, but I don't think anyone knows. So, the cult is... led, guided. They wouldn't say led. That would be too, that would divide people instead of uniting people. The cult is guided. Can't spell deities, apparently. So I just thought of something interesting, too. There's always 7 people on the council, but more people have ascended, because these are the people who have ascended. These are, like, the people who have achieved their godhood. They are the leaders of the cult. There are always 7 of them. There are more than 7 people who have ascended, because more people are always ascending, but there are only ever 7 people on the council. So what's happening to all these excess people who are ascending? Oh god, the what to just spout lore out every crevice is overwhelming. What if the thing in the shadows is like an ancient being who got cast down or had their power taken from them? I know exactly what the shadow being is, but nobody else does. Nobody in the cult knows what it is, but it's in the hourglass. It comes from the hourglass. It's stuck in the hourglass. So it's a very Asian Buddhist vibe to it, and I like it. Thank you! It may as well, since someone will ask eventually who influences created the shadow force. There's a very powerful being stuck in this hourglass, essentially. Like Lucifer's whole shtick. Is it Steve from HR? Shh! You're not supposed to know that. You're not supposed to know about Steve from HR. Right. So these are the people who have reached their full potential. There are always 7. No one knows where the rest of them go. me skip this song. Social standing, the Watchers basically stand apart from the rest of society, so they're essentially unknown outside of the cults. Fear the Dark Manipulator from the Shadows, Grand Architect of Fate, and Weaver of Cosmic Destiny, Gary Barlow. I mean, that's actually a very apt description of this entity. And essentially, even the Watchers don't really know how much and to what extent they're being manipulated, because this being that is essentially inside the hourglass it hasn't given them the full story, right? So even the highest membership of this cult has essentially been misled. They don't really know what they're doing, but they believe in it because they've been conditioned to believe in it. It could be Michael is that Bublé? Bublé. Because of that guy only shows up a few weeks every year. I know a guy who hit him in the mouth with a boom mic. So... this is one that I usually spend a lot of time on. I'm not sure if I will break this down more later, but ranks and respectful titles. I'm thinking that basically the 7 main are called God and Goddess, and everyone else is a god or goddess in training. And I'm thinking that they probably have like levels. So it's probably like level 1, level 10. I don't know how many levels there are. Probably a stupid number. But I don't know that I'm going to come up with specific names for each rank level initiate. Maybe it makes sense to have like groups, like if you're rank 1 to 5, then you're like this. But I don't know if I want it to be... I don't know if I want to get that deep into... I don't know. I haven't decided yet. Sometimes I do that stuff, and sometimes I don't think it's important. Michael Bubbly. Look, sometimes things just come out of my mouth, and Michael Bubbly was the one that it happened. It's actually Jake, and he just smacks folks with a boom mic when they get out of line. Sounds reasonable to me. These people wouldn't know what a boom mic was, so they would think it was just a powerful artifact. If the symbol is an hourglass, what if the being is controlling a mid-tier rank member, high enough to influence but low enough to fly under the radar? I think that the hourglass being is kind of pulling all the strings in the background, but people don't really realize to what extent. So I've mentioned before, I've not mentioned today, but I've mentioned before that my stories essentially exist in a multiverse. All of them connect together in various different ways, although I didn't plan it that way. It just kind of happened. This hourglass is one of those connections. So I know what the hourglass is, and I know what's in the hourglass. The people in this world don't, because it comes from a different time and space. It's sort of breaking their own rules. But I know what's in the hourglass, but I'm being coy about it because I don't want to spoil the story that it comes from. So I think ranks and respectful titles, we're just going to stick with... I think I might skip science and technology because they don't have any specific technology that's specific to them. Although, maybe I won't skip it. I will take out medicine because I don't think that's particularly relevant. I think I'll take out communication and transportation because, again, they don't have trade or military. I will leave religion. Current state. To remember to make. I've been extending all of these. I'm very finicky about how my formatting looks, so I apologize that I'm spending so much time making everything look a certain way. But I only apologize a tiny bit. I sure do love multiverses. The big eras for tech and fantasy are usually medieval, Renaissance, and colonial style tech. I think we're looking at... I don't know if we're looking at medieval or Renaissance yet. Somewhere in that area. I'm gonna leave science and technology because I want to talk about the fact that the Watchers use magic differently than everybody else. Which I know that I'm saying they use magic differently and I haven't established how everyone else uses magic yet, but that's okay. It all comes together in the end. Also, I just want you guys to know, please feel free to keep throwing ideas into the chat. I know I don't always use them, and I don't want you guys to be offended if I don't necessarily incorporate something into the story, but I always appreciate people throwing out their creative ideas and just letting it go wild, because somebody's going to be inspired by that, even if it's not me. So don't hold back. All right, so science and technology. I just want to make a note that incorporate Michael Bublé, chat demands it. Maybe when we get to the outline stage, Squanchy. Squanchy, weren't you the one who came up with the Carlton Butts drink as well? There's a drink that now exists in my multiverse because I think Squanchy came up with it. It's called the Carlton Butts. I shall put him in my D&D campaign as a substitute. Yes. Yes, sir. Carlton Butts. So I think, from writing this all out, and I'm not entirely sure, But I think from writing this all out that the Watchers believe, or have led their members to believe, that if they use magic differently than they've been taught, that they can essentially unlock hidden potential that lies within them as mages, and they can use this power to ascend to godhood. And that's what the whole ascension process is, and how they basically become highest ranking members of the cult. But I think what's actually happening, and I don't know for sure, but I think what's actually happening is that the people at the center of the cult, and especially this shadowy being that's inside the hourglass, what it's actually doing is tricking these mages into donating their energy to a cause that they don't necessarily know what that cause is. And that instead of ascending, that the reason why there are more ascensions than there are actually people running the cult is that these people aren't actually ascending to godhood. They're actually just they're sort of embodying all of their magic in this chaotic fashion because they're not using magic according to the laws of how magic is supposed to work. And they're essentially burning themselves out of existence to give this magical power to some being that they don't really know what is or actually that it even exists. I suspect that that's what's actually happening. I suspect that that's where this is actually going. So let's get rid of, I think we got rid of all of those. We'll copy those and move them over here. Now I'm not sure, maybe I'll just write that, actually maybe I'll write that under the religion section. Halo, thank you so much for the hydrate and for the stretch. The Battle of Fort Cringe, where the sorcerer Michael Bublé faced the great Sir Carlton Butts and struck him down. Yes! Yes! More lore. Stretching feels so good. Okay, so... Oh, I think we've gone below where you guys can see. Let me bring that up. What's the word I want to say here? Confident? Whoops. I'm so excited I just can't even type properly anymore. Is Ghost starting at 6? He will probably start around 7:30 PST. He usually starts at 6 o'clock for D&D because it's harder to get everyone's schedules to align. But we eat at 6 o'clock PST, so usually he comes around 7:30. Just because that with him working again, he has to have time to get home, and then I make dinner, and then he will be around. That was a long way of saying he'll start a little bit later than that, probably. Gonna start at my stream now. We'll see you on the other side. Halo, take care. Thank you so much for coming by. I do believe that he's planning on doing something similar to what I'm doing right now, though. And as we've talked about before, the current state of the Watchers is that they are aware of a prophecy which states that the daughter of everyone's child, the lost creator goddess, will return to walk among mortals again, and they want to determine how this prophecy will be fulfilled. Sorry. My pillow keeps falling down. My foot pillow keeps falling down. So they have essentially they are essentially trying to manipulate the outcome of this prophecy so that it goes according to their plan. Alright, and as we established, Ciri, one of the main characters that we did last week, is essentially the vessel that the Watchers have chosen to interfere with this prophecy that they know is supposed to take place. And they have promised her that if she should fulfill their purpose, she will ascend to godhood, blah, blah. So kind of a look at one of the forces that's moving in the background of this world, trying to manipulate it, mostly from the shadows, because I think they basically recruit their members, and then their members sort of just disappear from society. No one who hasn't had outside contact with the cult is really aware of their existence, or what they're trying to do, or what they stand for. This is kind of a really, like I said, it's a bit sketchy. I might go back and fill in some more of like the ranks and titles and some more of the philosophy for the cult. Sometimes I like to leave that stuff a little bit sketchy in my initial world building so that I can just kind of take a thread and run with it when I do my actual writing. Because I like to have an outline, but I like it to be a loose outline. I like it to not necessarily be set in stone. If my characters suddenly take me, if my characters suddenly swerve to the left, I want to be able to follow them in like down that path in that car and just see where it goes. So I'm not too worried about the fact that there are some things that probably do need more development. Usually what I do is I'll write my first draft and then I'll sit down with my notes again and I'll say, okay, this needs more development, this needs to be more specific, and I'll kind of come back to this document and check it all over again and start to fill in some of those things then. So I think this is a really good basis to start with. The next one is the Mage Council, and it's the same kind of thing. The Mage Council is a sort of government body that has a vested interest in manipulating the outcome of our main character's journey. And we're going to do something very similar for them. And this is where we're going to start talking about how magic works and why it works the way it does. Sorry, I have like every one of my novel series has, and this is my D&D campaign over here actually. So all of my novel series have notes in this here document. So again, we're going to take out biology because everybody, all the different races have membership within the council. Extend this a little bit. So I don't necessarily want this to be the Watchers are the good guys and the mages are the Watchers are the bad guys and the mages are the good guys, because I don't really want this to be a black and white issue. I don't really necessarily want there to be a good and a bad. People are going to do good and bad things from either of these groups, but neither, at their core, neither of these groups are inherently evil. Manipulative in the case of the Watchers, for sure. Not necessarily the best organization, but their purpose isn't necessarily meant to be evil. And I kind of like to have these two opposing forces that are both shades of gray, because to me, that's going to make the story much more interesting. If the players involved in who's trying to do what and why they're trying to do it, if there isn't necessarily a right answer and a wrong answer, it's far more interesting to present a moral conundrum that doesn't necessarily have a correct answer than it is to just say, these are the good guys, these are the bad guys, you know the good guys are going to win in the end. Because people are complicated. And situations are complicated. And in the real world, it's also often true that we don't necessarily have a specific right answer, a specific wrong answer to a given situation. And you have to try and choose based on what seems the most right at the time. And so I really like to try and create those kinds of situations for my characters. I really want my characters to have to look at all of the information and realize that there might not be an entirely satisfactory answer, and that they have to try and do the best with what's there. So like the Watchers, the Mage Council is kind of, they're a little bit more on the up and up. They're an official organization within the world, but they definitely have their shady backroom qualities too. They definitely are sort of trying to manipulate the strings in which, you know, all the different countries or all the different mages work in order to get their way, in order to do what they want to do. But I don't necessarily want one organization to seem moral and the other to seem amoral. They've both got their bad things that they're doing, and they both got the good things that they're doing, if that makes sense. So I believe that instead of thinking of this necessarily as ethics and moral values, I'm kind of trying to think of it as like the mission statement of the Mage Council. And I think the mission statement of the Mage Council is essentially to govern the practice and use of magic, to ensure that it's not being abused, to ensure that it's not being misused, to ensure that a mage doesn't walk into a town and just fireball everyone for no reason and just walk away and get away with it. They essentially establish the rules and the laws associated with use, the code of conduct that mages are supposed to follow, and the appropriate areas of study. So they also get to decide what magic is considered forbidden, what magic is considered acceptable. And they can kind of, by creating the schools of magic, they're kind of telling people, this is the magic you can do, stick to your lane, and don't do anything else. So we can see how somebody in the Mage Council might go a little drunk with power. I'm trying to decide if I should make tea, because I usually make tea around this time of the day. I don't know when Ghost is getting home. But I think what I'll do is I'll fill out the ethics and morals section. And then we'll take a quick break, and maybe I'll throw the kettle on and make some tea. Tea is the other thing we talk about a lot on this stream, so right. How do I want to word this? I'm not a big reader, but I would love to try reading some of your works. Do you have any recommendations for a good place to start? Well, thank you for the interest, Barefoot Turtle. Are you more interested in fantasy or science fiction? Because that will help me answer the story, the question. I'm already losing my control of language. Hey, Atlantis, how are you? What's up? I'm doing pretty good. I hurt my foot, so I apologize if I'm like all over the place in my chair, but I'm doing pretty good aside from that. Probably fantasy. I would say a good place to start is my Dream Things True series. The first book is called Dreamers Do Lie. It's a high fantasy sort of reimagining of Dante's Inferno. That's my most fantasy one. But if you're into sort of the whole magical girls sort of thing, if you've ever seen Sailor Moon, if you're interested in that and or mythology, you could also look at my Eternity's Empire series, which is a little bit more space opera-y, but it has a lot of magic and fantasy elements involved in it as well, and is very heavily based on different mythologies from Earth. I hope you're okay. I'm mostly okay, Atlantis. I pinched a nerve in my foot. I don't know how I did it. I fully blame myself because I must have done something. But I'm basically doing a lot of icing and just resting my foot. But I have my under my desk set up different than usual, so I don't know if I look like totally all over the place on stream or not. Thank you, Barefoot Turtle. I appreciate it. I appreciate your interest. I will say I have been trying to get audiobooks going for some time. I've been looking at a couple of different angles. I know I have some people who really want to help me with that. It's mostly just this year has been so much crazier than I expected it to be. So I haven't been able to get audiobooks recorded yet, but it is something I'm looking into for sure. For anyone who's like, I would love to listen to your books someday. Also, I guess I should mention this because I haven't so far this stream, but Ghost and I are raising money to buy new chairs. Our chairs are pretty not great, and Ghosts is held together by duct tape. If you are interested in donating, hit the !divorce command. I know it's weird, but divorce court is just what we call our streams that we do together. We're not actually getting a divorce. And you can toss some money at this. One of the rewards is that I will read one of my books on stream if we get that high in the drive. This is going on for another month. So we've currently unlocked the Tipsy stream, which is I will drink wine and talk with chat. That's probably going to happen in October. We are working on unlocking Ghost Makes Hot Sauce on stream. So if you'd like to see Ghost make some hot sauce, homemade with peppers from our garden, you can toss some money in that direction. How's my day been so far? Pretty good. Our power went out this morning when I was in the middle of editing a scene, so that was fun. But thankfully, luckily, I save very often. Like, every time I make a change, I'm like, save, save, save. So I didn't lose anything except time. Actually, it's kind of funny. I don't know if we'll get to this today, but I started making a rough draft of the outline for this story on actual paper because the power was out, and I was like, well, I guess I should do something. Because normally the power either goes out for like 5 seconds or 5 hours. So I was like, how was your day, Atlantis? So to establish... Suddenly I can't spell guidelines. Anne, hello! Thank you so much for the raid! How are you? Let me get you a shout out. How was your stream? Welcome, welcome. Shograz, I wonder if we can ever get a reasonable mage council in a story. I feel like they are always super rigid and rude or just corrupt. Oh my gosh. Something just popped up and I missed it. What was it? I feel like somebody just did something and I missed it. No. I'm trying to create a mage council that isn't necessarily corrupt, but isn't necessarily pristine. They're supposed to kind of be... Bar donated $25 to the chairs! What? Is that what just happened? Shagraz, are you trolling me? Because I don't think that would pop up on my stream. Oh, did you donate to mine? That's fine. It won't move the bar. I will add it. Bar, do you already... That's right, I haven't added you to the overlay. I think I need to add Bard and Nobo. Hang on. We'll do it live. Stram elements is what I typed. Edit. Because is Bardell on here already? No. You are on here. What am I talking about? I'll put you on here again. You deserve to be on here again. Bard. Owl. Oh my god. Marendia. I don't know what size the rest of those are. I think it's 30. Where are we gonna put this? Where are we gonna put this? Hang on. I gotta... move this. Oh no, what am I doing? What's happening? No! I may have moved all the wrong things. Nope. Well, it might have to stay there because I apparently can't... Oh, there we go. Nope. I've put something in a place where I can no longer grab a hold of it, apparently? Okay, wait. Did I get a hold of it? What is happening? You guys can't see what I'm doing, but it's pretty... I think I just put it in a spot where I couldn't... are you guys seeing this, like, live? Okay, thank goodness. Can I not just use my... Okay. Alright. I'll try to... Okay, I may have done it. I may have just broken everything, but hopefully not. There, all of that, and now you can just see I added Bard Owl to the overlay a second time. We don't see anything different until you click save. Thank goodness, because there was a lot of insanity happening, and I basically was moving, like, the whole background instead of just your name. Bard, thank you so much for the donation. Hey, it did move the bar. We've unlocked the hot sauce stream. So, we got a stretch. I would not troll about Bard. I mean, you troll about everything else, Sugaraz. I see your name right below my beautiful face. Well, now it's on there twice. Wait, did you donate again? Did you donate a second time? Oh my god, Bart! Do you want me to send the first donation back? Oh my god. All right, well, that's also another... Oh my gosh, Bard, you're way too generous. That'll go towards unlocking the Divorce Court brunch stream. So the next reward on the list is that Ghost and I will make brunch and eat brunch on stream. I will definitely be visible while eating the food. Ghost might hide himself behind a GIF while he eats the food. But we'll eat brunch and we'll chat with you guys. And if we get to the $600 mark, we will upgrade that stream to a 12-hour stream. We won't eat brunch for the entire 12 hours, don't worry, but we will stream for the entire 12 hours. Bard, thank you. You're so amazing. I should add your name onto my overlay like 20 more times. Okay, so the purpose of the Mage Council is to establish guidelines for the study and use of magic, as well as a code of conduct to be utilized by all mages across all borders. Their function is also to judge those who breach the rules of conduct and to punish anyone considered to be in breach of their established law. Okay, so they do not have the authority of law in any various kingdom, but they are considered to have jurisdiction over mages. Tell Ghost you better eat brunch on stream so I get my money's worth. I 100% will tell him that, Bard. Instead of name of donors on overlay, have avatars. I mean, it would be harder because people would have to send me the avatars and they would take up more space. I also know that I'm missing a few because Nobo, I think, donated as well, and I have to get the full spelling of their name from Ghost, and I think I might be missing someone else who donated as well. I can't do that because it's actually in Ghost actually has the thing that's not in my thing, so I have to wait for Ghost to do that. It's all on his stream elements. I will have him do that when he gets home, which may or may not be before the end of the stream. I'm not the one who's good at this stuff. Hey Janine, how are you? Also, I'll have to go in and add up all of my, because I'm going to have Ghost update the goal manually anyway because of Bard's donation. I will also add up all of my income across the month of August and have him add that to the bar as well. He had said before that he didn't want to count like subs and stuff, but I think it just makes sense. We're doing a drive. People have donated bits. People have subbed. I'm going to go ahead and count all of that stuff towards the goal as well, and see how much that moves the bar. So the next goal for reference is that brunch stream, Divorce Court Brunch. And after, so 300 will be Divorce Court Brunch, and at 400, Ghost is going to he's going to create a dungeon map, giveaway. I believe if we get all the way to 800, he's actually going to turn that, desert arc from Winds of Chaos into a, adventure that people can run in their own campaigns. So the next one is actually the dungeon map giveaway. At 400, yes. Wait, what? What just happened? How did we get to 3? Bard, what are you doing? Bard, what's happening? How did we... Weren't we at 174 and now we're at 300? Bard. 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 Oh no. Thank you. Yes. The next stream at 400 will be the dungeon map giveaway, and at 500 we'll unlock a 12-hour writing stream where I will essentially do my entire day of work on stream. I will turn on stream in the morning. You will see me in all of my chaotic glory doing both of my work things and my social media and eating lunch and all that stuff. So 12-hour work stream from me, my whole day just for you to see. It'll probably happen in November during NaNoWriMo for anyone if we unlock it. So there we go. Gotta make dumb butts comfy, Bard. You are so incredibly generous. And I'm speechless. I don't even know what to say because I know that you pretty much donated all of the money for the Tipsy stream as well. So thank you. I do not have words, even as a writer, to say how amazing of a friend you are. And if I try, I'm probably going to make us all cry. So thank you so much, Bard. You're amazing. You're amazing beyond words. I can't believe that I just literally looked over and saw the number jump and I was like, what is happening? Cutesy Cat, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome to the stream. Bard, thank you. I'm gonna go make tea in a minute and then I'm gonna come back and thank you again because that's how amazing you are. So yeah, basically we have the Mage Council. They are the keeper of laws for mages in this world. They determine how magic can be studied, what magic is considered forbidden. So they're basically the ones who would be banning books if that were a thing to happen. They do keep secrets from the rulers of various other kingdoms in order to ensure safety by keeping forbidden magic out of the hands of those who misuse or abuse it. They maintain the right to determine what is considered an acceptable area of study or declare certain types of magic or specific spells forbidden or outlawed. They also collect and contain dangerous magical artifacts. That's essentially their mission statement. We're gonna take out family because not really relevant to the Mage Council. We will do government. Oops. I just cannot hit the right buttons today, apparently. We will keep social standing, ranks and respectful titles, science and technology, medicine, not really relevant, communication and transportation. We might do trade. They do not have a military or a religion. And then current state. So let me update this. Medicine, no. Military, religion, no. There we go. I'm excited for the Tipsy stream. Please make sure to tag me when it happens so I can be there even if I'm working. I will, Bard. I'm planning to take off our Thanksgiving here in Canada is actually in October instead of November. And I am planning to, because I actually only took 1 week off over the summer, I'm planning to take a week off around Thanksgiving time here in Canada. And I'm going to probably be doing the Tipsy stream that week because I can just clear a whole block of time, get myself a nice bottle of wine, and just chat with everybody. Ooh, that's Ghost. Hello?
Hello.
I'm streaming right now, so just so you know, I'm on the internets. Bard just got us up to the brunch stream.
Dang. Thank you, Bard.
He says thank you, Bard. What is it?
I'm not finding any.
Are you in the ice cream aisle?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm not seeing any. These are labeled frozen dessert. I'll take a closer look.
Well, yeah, if
What kind of flavor are you looking for?
something with chocolate in it.
Okay.
I mean,
I'll see what I can find.
they might not have the So Delicious, but they should have other brands. They seemed to have a pretty wide selection there.
I'll see. Nothing is popping out as dairy free. Oh, never mind. That's not fun.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll talk to you later.
Okay, love you. Bye.
Bye.
He couldn't find the dairy-free ice cream, but then he found it. Excellent. This is a very important part. Yes, Ghost was instructed to call me because he was supposed to be picking out he was supposed to tell me what flavors were there, but he was like, I can't find any. Oh wait, I found some pie. As many of you may know, I am lactose intolerant, so I can't eat just regular ice cream. So Ghost was tasked with, I forgot to order some during our last thing, but I noticed that there's a Save on Foods near us that has a lot of non-dairy stuff. Thank goodness, because I can actually get like non-dairy cheese and a whole bunch of other stuff to snack on there. And so I was like, hey, will you stop and grab me something? And he was like, yeah, because he has to get a salad for school tomorrow. He'll rant about that on his stream. And then he was like, I can't find any. And I was like, I know, I have seen that they have it there, but he must have been looking for the specific brand and they might just carry a different brand. That is how it always goes. I know, right? He was like, he didn't want to disappoint me. He was like, I'm going to look around and just see what I can find. And I was like, okay. I said I was going to make tea and I think I should. So I have returned. Welcome back, Carbade. I just missed me being on the phone with Ghost. I'm going to go just pop the kettle on, make myself some hot tea, and also I haven't taken a bio break since we started, so I should probably do that. Take care of myself, get up, stretch, walk around just a little bit to stretch my foot. Workday is over for me finally, so I'm going to take a quick break and then I'm gonna write. Yes! Bard! Write with us! If you want, I'll even turn on that sprint timer. I haven't been using it because I'm just yakking as I type. But if you want, I will turn that on for you. You just let me know when I get back. You never remember what you forget to bring with you till you left the place, right? Oh my god. So, funny story. Twice now, Ghost and I have been like, we need to run to the store and grab a few things. These were on 2 different occasions, but Ghost was planning to make something on the grill. And usually when he makes something on the grill, we just eat a salad with it. Like if he's making sausages, or if he's making hamburgers, we just eat a salad on the side. So we go to the store and we grab a bunch of things and we get home and we're like, we forgot to grab salad. We forgot to grab salad to go with dinner tonight. Twice we did that, like, as soon as we walked in the door. And the second time, he looked at me and he was like, in typical fashion, we forgot the salad. I was like, why? I'm gonna try to write soon too, but it's been a hard day. Hey, Exiled Fae, why has it been a hard day? If you want to talk about it, let us know. You don't have to, but if you want to, let us know. We're here for you. I hope you're able to get some writing in, though. I know that always makes me feel better when I have a hard day. Gonna be plotting for a cheesy romance that's probably never gonna see the light of day. Bard, I want to read it. I already want to read it. All you had to do was say cheesy romance, and I'm in. I'm all in. I want to read it. Please write it so that I can. Should I start writing too? Really cement the atmosphere? Yeah, Carbade, go for it. Do you usually write? I think I forgot to ask you this when you came in. But what kind of stuff do you write? And if you don't write, what kind of stuff are you gonna write? Because we'll make a writer out of you, I swear. I'm gonna go hit that BRB before I get distracted and forget. You will see the list of rewards for the chair will be on there again for anybody who missed that conversation and is interested. We have unlocked a tipsy stream with me, Striker, drinking wine. We have unlocked cooking hot sauce with Ghost in the kitchen. We have unlocked eating brunch and chatting with you guys. And we are currently working on a map giveaway at $400. Ghost will be doing a giveaway of a map. I don't know the exact specifics, but he will explain on his stream tonight, and then I'll know. So my next reward at the 500 mark will be that 12-hour writing stream. So those will all be there. If you have any questions, throw them in the chat, and I'll answer them as soon as I get back. I'm sure it's going to be bad, but I need to break the seal. Bard, first of all, you're absolutely right. Second of all, I have a soft spot for really bad romances. Like, I know they're bad, but I love them anyway, so do it. There's a market for everything. My main issue is naming stuff. Carbade, have you heard of fantasynamegenerators.com? Because that's what I use to name literally everything. I will tell you that in many of my first drafts, things go without names because I'm like, yeah, I'll name that later. And then I go to fantasynamegenerators.com and I name them. I normally just brainstorm because I'm making a D&D campaign I hope to make into an RPG. That would be amazing as well. It's 80% of my stuff. Carbade! Me too! I'm with you. I will be right back, guys. Chat, my tea isn't quite done yet, but I just had a really cool thought. Wouldn't it be super cool if both the Watchers and the Mage Council had 7 leaders? For different reasons. For the Mages, it's going to be 1 master for each school. So we have Earth, Air, Fire, Water. And then we have Light, Shadow, Force. And then 1 Grand Master who is elected as the leader of the council. It works out perfectly, and I didn't even plan this. 7 was just a number that I picked randomly. And what if, to save me problems later, we actually just name all of the masters on the council now? Wouldn't that be something? Sir Forklift Jr. 2, this one is for free. All of my characters start out as MC or LI for main character and love interest. That makes sense. If they are blessed with a name, it is always some version of Sam, Samantha, and Lara. That's fine, you know? You can change it later. You can just do a find and replace. My D&D campaign is very war and fighting focused lore, but it's just vague world building in shells right now. I need to cement the timeline and look for plot holes, and I can start making a campaign. Nice! Ooh, fired up. Good. I've been meaning to make a character who's forklift certified. I think you mean perfectly planned, never wrong. Right, exactly. I knew what I was doing right from the start. This was always the plan. Never questioned it. Just a note I forgot to add to that before. And then I just do that so that it'll always snap to the top. All right, so the Mage Council. Advisor. Can't spell. Too excited. Unless invited to have a representative or advisor. All right, I'm gonna go grab my tea, and then we're gonna go on fantasynamegenerator.com and give all these people names so that when I need them later, because I will need them, they will already exist. Hey, Laurel, how are you? What about Brachus the Earth Mage? Ooh, I like that. We might have to use that. Thinking of names for the council. Ooh, is the Mage Council called September? No, because September isn't a thing in this world. uh, Sometimes I feel like the ideas come faster than I can even type them, and sometimes it feels like I sat on a boat all day fishing for an idea and I never got a nibble. Bard. That is the story of every writer's life. And really, the only way to get around that is practice. The more you encourage yourself to sit down and write every day, the more your brain is going to find things to fill that space, even if they're not always good things. And you know what? Accept the things that are bad, because you can turn them into good things later, and they're better than nothing. Brachus Cadabra, the Earth Mage. Ooh, these aren't some bad starts. I might change a few of the letters around, but I like that. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go into BRB mode again because I'm walking really wonky right now and I just don't want you guys to see that. So I will be right back with tea and we're gonna do some names. I'm back. So I talked to Ghost to ask what the map giveaway is. And the way it works is anybody who has donated $5 or more is... Oh, sorry. Fixing foot pillow. Anyone who's donated $5 or more to the chair drive at the end of the drive will be entered to win a custom D&D map. He's going to put some stipulations on what type of map, I think. He's going to explain that tonight on his stream because he has that all in his mind. But the idea is that it'd be something that you would be able to use in your own D&D campaign that you were running. So, Bard, you are entered in that for sure. And so all it takes is $5. And if anyone is listening and is still interested, it's the divorce command to get the link. It's just Ghost's tip jar. If you accidentally donate to me, it will be counted. It just won't show up on the stream at the time because I'll have to add it manually afterwards. Ooh, gosh. I've decided for this one, I'm just going to make things happen even if they suck. Yes, you totally should. That's a good policy. And you can fix it later. You can make it not suck later. It's a playoff abracadabra. I'm good, thanks. How are you? I'm doing pretty good. Just trying to rest my foot since I apparently pinched a nerve, but I'm doing pretty good otherwise. Coming up with some names here in a minute. Apparently Persephone and Pluto have a daughter, and none of the deities told me until a few days ago. Uh-oh! You do fantasy name generator. I'm going to figure out how the werebear centaurs and the snow elves fit in. Those both sound amazing! This song is suitably mushroomish vibes. Nice. Learning to finish stories is a skill. Honestly, Bard. It is. So, even if you throw out a few stories, it's fine. And you never know, you might come back to them later and make them good. That's what I did. Don't get me wrong, I have some stories that'll never see the light of day. But I have some that I went back and fixed, so... Forgot I still had a little bit of iced tea. I better finish that quick too. All right. Oh yeah, I should close that. Lol. All right. This is going to be a little bit wonky because I have it adjusted for my OneNote right now. Let's go to fantasy name generators. I might not specifically use this one, but let's see. Do they just have a mage name section, and will I like it? Magic usernames. Abs. I don't like it. Let's see. Moon rabbit names. That sounds so cool. See, sometimes this is the problem. I just want to generate names, and I have to choose what type of names. So sometimes when I just want, like, generic fantasy names, I don't use this. Warrior nicknames. Wizard names. This is more like it. Hello, I am Abs, Master of Buff, right? I think naming the continents should be my first order of business. That'd be a good order of business. My sister-in-law came in and started talking to me, so I didn't hear anything you said. I said the policy of making something happen, even if it sucks, is a good policy. And you can always go back and fix it later. Like, learning to finish stories is a skill. Is essentially the gist of it. I've thrown out multiple stories that I threw out before finding even one I could stick to. Exactly. Werebear Warrior should be called Barrier. Okay. Right off the bat, I like Rigorum. I might use that as, like, our Grandmaster's name. Hang on. Let's just write down a bunch of names that I like. So, what was the name you guys were suggesting before? Brachus or whatever? Is that what it was? Oh no. Sir Forklift. Brachus, there it is. Was it Brachus Cadabra? Alright. Muscle Menser is a good buff mage name. Nice. What is Plague Doctor names? I don't know. Let's look. Hang on. So we don't lose the names that it's already generated for us. Plague Doctor names? There we go. Dr. Rash and Dr. Woe. Nurse Ferment. Assistant Prognosis. I'm looking at continent names. It gave me the wonderful Cragtopia. Nice. Bard, what? You don't want to name Nurse Ferment? Like, come on. Assistant Prognosis. We can get more. Nurse Inflame. Professor Flu. Nurse Suffer. That sounds like a dollar store villain. Nice. So now we know. Now we know. Nurse Suffer. Oh my goodness, I minimized things. Ghost Pepper, thank you so much for 10 months. First of all, how? How have I been streaming for 10 months? But second of all, thank you. Thank you, Ghost. As you can see, Bard has... Oh, Ghost, can you update the next goal so that it reads properly? I can't do that because it's in your stream elements. Also, after the stream, I will update how much the actual bar is at, since Bard donated some money to me, and also... and also, I'm gonna add all of my income from August. Alright, so we have Brachus Cadabra, and I know you guys wanted that to be, the leader of the Earth School, so you know what? Wish granted. Brachus Cadabra. Let's see what other names we got here. So I like Rigorum. I think that would be a good name for a Grandmaster. Unvacor? I don't know. That invokes certain things for me. Azur? Rigorum Azur might actually be a cool name. So now we can switch back and forth between, like, male names, female names, and neutral names. I have to blow my nose, so I apologize here. I like Istria, although maybe as a last name. Zothal is nice. I don't know that these scream particularly female to me. Atenora is nice, actually. Essinor, is that one you want me to use, Bard? You don't want to keep that one for yourself? Insert last name because I don't have one? Yeah. It is showing as updated for me, Ghost Pepper, so you guys should be seeing it too. I'm not rating fantasy at the moment? Fair. Yeah, if you want me to use Essinor, I totally will. Pagurus, that made me think of Pug. Our good friend Pug. I was like, if I do that, I'm basically naming a character after Pug. Even though it's probably meant to be like Fagurus, but I just, yeah. Alright, Essinor. And we have Atenora. I like Essinor Zothal, actually. So maybe we'll do that. Let's go some neutral names. Asorin is a good one, too. Astria Asorin. Mawin. Nola and Orson are two of my favorite mage-sounding names. Oh, nice. So I'll admit I've got characters with those names. Oh, you don't have to give me your names, Laurel. That's fine. Shrimpy Rumbles. Squanchy. Bard, I appreciate it. I've added them to the list. Lists? I can't talk. I'm sorry. Sutrix. Interesting. Oh, look, Ronnie. Lacalis would make a good... Athenora Lacalis is a cool name. So we've got 5. Let's assign a few of these. So I am thinking I like Atenora Lacalis as the Fire Master. I like Rigorum Azure as the Grandmaster. Let's see. Let's get a few more. I think I only need, so I have 2 more. So we need 2 more for sure. Ronnie, you're a wizard, Ronnie. Shrimpy Rumbles. Alisai is another favorite of mine. It's from a video game. Nice. Tiberian64. Hello, welcome to the stream. I love this website too. I cannot name characters without this website. I like Anorum. I'm worried I got too many A names in here though. Riffius. Agadalf. Sometimes it helps to say them out loud too. Azadius. Tikius. Nurse in Flame was Ghost's resubscription message. Imagine, hi, I'm useless. I pulled up the website and one of the first names I got was useless. Oftentimes I will just change the order of letters as well. I do fear we're starting to get too many of the same sounds. Amal. Oh, I like See, instead of Penel, I like Fennel. Phinell. Maybe we'll go with Fennel Mawin. Let's see. All right, and we just need one more. I like how these notes are basically just gibberish. my program is like, none of these are real words. What are you doing? Ooh, a zinni. I like that too. Whoops. Just trying to yeet some suggestions your way. I appreciate it. Doofus Ruckus, Squanchy. Ooh, Alithia. Just spelled correctly. I do want one slightly more masculine sounding. I'm not necessarily assigning genders to these names as I go, because I'm not necessarily creating these characters, just kind of getting some names for them. But I do think that we associate certain sounds with masculine or feminine, and I'm trying to get some neutral sounding names in there too. There are non-binary characters in this novel. Tatrasil, Drungaleath, and Skrillex are all non-binary. They are personifications of celestial energy, so they do not have specific genders. So there will be some non-binary characters in this book as well, and so I'm trying to get a bunch of different feeling names, but I'm not necessarily trying to specifically assign genders to these characters yet. They'll sort of form as I go. Did my message not pop up? It's not showing chat on stream. I saw you said Azini, and that was the last thing I saw before that. Steve from HR. Is your novel based on D&D? Noticed you're giving away a D&D map. This novel is not based on D&D. The D&D map giveaway is actually going to be from my husband, Ghost Pepper. I'll give him a shout out in chat. I will pop up what we are doing in a second here. Colossus Bigus. I said cough Nadani. I can't steal Nadani from you, Bard. My husband and I are raising money to get some new chairs. The chairs we're using now are pretty icky. They were sort of bargain bin chairs. They have no back support. I'm using an extra cushion to support my back. And Ghost is held together by duct tape. So we are raising money to get some really, really good, really nice chairs. That's why all these numbers are so high. If you hit exclamation divorce, you can see where you can go to donate. If you donate to my tip jar, that's fine. It won't move the bar on stream, but I will move the bar after. Jake is from State Farmers. You guys. Basically, we have unlocked up to the 300 mark so far, Divorce Court Brunch stream. For the $400 mark, my husband Ghost Pepper is going to be giving away a custom dungeon map. Anyone who donates $5 or more will be entered into the giveaway. It will be a custom map that you can use in your own campaign, probably built with Dungeon Draft, I'm assuming. I don't know what all the stipulations are. You can ask Ghost Pepper if you have any questions, but he will be talking a bit more about that, I think, on his stream tonight. I assume on his stream tonight. So that is happening. It's unrelated to the novel we're doing right now. But my husband Ghost Pepper does a lot of D&D content, so if you're interested in any of that, he actually usually runs a D&D campaign every Tuesday. They took a week off this week, but he is, I think, planning to do some D&D stuff later tonight. So you can always ask him about that there. And if we hit 500, I will be doing a 12-hour writing stream. So that may happen. Belagar. Zachariah. Actually, I like the Zachariah one. My wife's boyfriend. Oh, I like Gromarth too. Silent Walrus. Long live Mythbusters. Let's go with, I like Gromarth Izini, so let's use that as our last one. Thanks to all of you for throwing out some names. I know not all of them were used, but that doesn't mean there won't be more names later. I'm not usually this proactive in naming things, I gotta be honest. So, let me just add some nice formatting here. All right, so we're gonna go with social standing of mages for the most part. So I'm establishing that mages are basically a educated trade. They're held in high regard. Their skills are rare and valuable, and therefore they are generally treated with respect. I'm new to your stream, but I have to ask, why doesn't your husband list you under Ghost Pepper suggests these streamers? Well, well, well. Caught, aren't you? To be honest, Tiberian, I'm assuming it's because he streamed for an entire year before I started streaming, and he just never thought to add me because I do way different streams. But also, thank you for giving me something I can sass him about. Sometimes my characters come with names and sometimes I have to give them. Big mood, Laurel. Frank Fardis? I don't even remember how to set the recommended streamers. I put like 4 people in there and I keep meaning to add more and I can't find that area of the site again. Glad I could help. Me too, Tiberian. That's something that was kind of set and forget. You do not have to add me. I do not do the same kind of streams that you do. It's okay. I won't make you sleep on the couch this time. Alright, ranks and respectful titles. This was something I was kind of thinking about earlier. So we have, we'll basically go from highest rank to lowest. So we have Grandmaster. I'm wondering if there's another word for journeyman. What the hell is this? Oh, okay. This was from Bard. I see, I see. Not really. It's one of those words that just kind of doesn't have a lot of Gorby Glooty. I was thinking FIFO, first in, first out. What is happening? Seals Apple, hello, how are you? What are you up to today? What is this conversation? Just spitting out names. I think I set that up 2 years ago. I need to figure out how hell works. Dang. Read Dante's Inferno. It's good inspiration. Hell works like this. Fafo? Fuck around, find out? Is that what Ghost Pepper said? My husband doesn't usually use the F word. I'm writing my own D&D campaign and the Outer Planes are separate planets. Nice! Hell could be, like, inside of the planet. It could be at, like, the core of a planet. Or it could just be a fire planet. All good here? Glad to hear it. I don't know what conversation you walked into, but please feel free to embrace the chaos. Alright, so we have our ranks here pretty standard. I'm actually gonna use bold for these, I think, to make them stand out a little bit more. I don't know why that one looked so much different in bold than the others, but all right. For science and technology, this is where we're actually going to strike that out, and we're going to talk about the different mage schools and how they work. I worked food service in high school and college. He did. Hell could be like a planet with an irregular orbit, and when it comes close to prime, the devils jump off and come to collect some souls. Ooh, I like that idea. Ghost Pepper. Hell is just a massive ranger party, but normies don't like it, so they told everyone to stay away. Oh my gosh, it's 5:30 already. We've got so much more that I wanted to get through today. I'm supposed to be plotting right now, but this chat is wild. I mean, Bard, use some of these ideas for your thing. You said you were gonna write a bad romance. Squanchy has just thrown like dozens of names that you can use. Or you can name your main character Abs. It was suggested by the freaking name generator. Let's switch this to Schools of Magic. I need to reheat my tea, but it means getting up and moving, and my foot just hurts so much right now. Just finished making dinner, Bard. Woof, what are you eating? This sounds exactly the kind of description I would expect from you. My characters are boring real people with boring real names. They don't have to be. And Abs is a real name, apparently. Their nickname could be Abs. Their nickname could be Abs McGee. We're all Bard now. In fairness to me, your name was right above where Wolf said that, but yeah. All right, so basically, I'm thinking, and I have to find a way to express this in words, but basically, magic is divided into sources. So the way it works is that each school draws on a different source of magic in order to create and craft their spells. So I kind of talked about this a little bit before. I like the idea that people basically carry objects. So an earth mage might carry stones or crystals, and an air mage might carry feathers, or, you know, other things that we associate with air. A water mage might carry specific vials of water taken from specific springs or sources. A fire mage might carry ashes from specific fires, or igneous rocks that have come from volcanic areas, or obsidian for the same reason. And by carrying with them these sources, which are taken from very specific locations, they're able to infuse these sources with magic of that elemental type. And then they use the energy stored in these sources in order to cast their spells. So instead of having a mage focus through which magic is essentially filtered, they essentially carry their magic in these objects, and once they've expended a certain amount of energy from these sources, they need to recharge the sources in various ways. Like a water mage might refill their vial with water from a specific source, or might perform a purification ritual to reinvigorate the water that they've taken. It would depend, like a fire mage might build a fire and feed it ashes from certain other fires in order to regenerate more magic into their source, essentially. And if you do not have any magic in a source, you won't be able to use it. But also I'm thinking if you try to draw too much energy from the source, you put it at risk of breaking. And one of the reasons why mages keep to specific schools is that it's easier to infuse your sources, and it's easier to keep track of your sources if you're not carrying too many from different schools. Also, Tiberian, thank you so much for the follow. I really appreciate it. Also, I'm thinking, because we established that force is a form of protective magic, it might be that people who use force magic tend to carry shields, or they could use their armor, their bracers, as a source to infuse. So just to sort of enhance that idea of essentially paladins, right? So that's kind of the idea I'm going for. That's sort of how I imagine that magic works in this world, is that essentially people perform rituals to take natural energy from the world, from various elements, to infuse it into specialized sources that they carry with them, and then they bond with these objects. They can draw power from the objects, and they can use that to weave spells, essentially. And they have to keep their sources charged, which is probably easier to do if they don't completely drain them. Other types of magic probably do exist. I know blood magic came up earlier, and actually I think blood magic would fit perfectly into this setting, because essentially you would be drawing the magic from the ritual of some form of bloodletting into a specific source, probably bone. But it is probably considered to be forbidden magic by the Mage Council, because it probably mostly involves murder. All the names I posted are free to use. Thank you, Squanchy. You are amazing. You truly are. That is not sarcasm. Ronnie is home, so I'm going to lurk for a bit and catch up. with him before I may or may not be guesting on a certain podcast. Have fun, Bard. I want to be on that podcast so bad, but they never ask me. Sad face. Have fun. I will be sure to tune in later and check out what's going on. Is it all right to ask for advice on cover design? You can. I will show you my cover artist who did half of them. I do not design many of my own covers, so I can only give limited advice. But if you're looking for who did mine, it is this lovely lady, Molly Phipps, over at We Got You Covered Book Design. If you actually check out her portfolio, you will see that some of mine are among the... You have to scroll a little bit, but you'll see that some of mine are among her work. There's my Celestial Serenade covers. She did my Dream Things True series, and she also did my Celestial Serenade, which is ongoing now. She's amazing. She does a lot of fantasy, sci-fi, romance, a bunch of different genres. So check her out. She's very busy, so you have to book ahead. If you're thinking you want to get a cover done with her, definitely book well in advance. But she's great to work with. She's a lovely lady. She is in England, so she is going to be in a British time zone. So if you're contacting her at this time of day, she might not answer right away. But she's great. She is truly great. Highly recommend. Thank you. I made the Eternity Empire series covers myself. I don't think they're anything spectacular because I do not have Molly's skill. But I basically just I had a friend help me create a template that I could use to swap in different elements. And then I just kind of swapped in elements for each cover based on the story. I can try to give you some advice for creating your own covers, but I'm not that good at it. But I can try. If you ask your question, I will do my best for sure. How about money magic? You make people do things by paying them money. I don't think people consider that to be magic. I think they just consider that to be hiring someone. You will be eventually. I basically had to bribe them to let me on just because I was a captain during the charity event. I keep thinking I'm going to buy a fake beard and then go to them and be like, I have a beard now. You have to let me into the podcast. What about alchemy, potions, enchanting, and rune carving? So rune carving would probably fall under the earth school tree, and potions would probably fall under the water skill tree, because it involves infusing those elements with magic. Gonna go lay down for a bit. Everyone in chat, be good while I'm away. If there's shenanigans, I want to be here for it. If you're coming upstairs, can you reheat my tea for me? Pouty face. If he doesn't come, I'll go do it myself. So, I'm basically gonna write down everything that I just said. Oh my god, fine. No, never mind. You don't have to do it. Oh my god. Go lay down, respect your body. He just started the new school year this year, so he's probably like adjusting to the energy level. Oh god, this again?
Can I reheat your tea for you, madam?
Yes, please.
I can't see.
Oh god. 1 minute on the clock, please. He did that once before when I was on. So now somebody can clip that and it'll be on my channel as well as his channel. Okay, so magic is divided into different schools based on the sources used to complete the spell. Thank you.
I'm not gonna bounce around to come back in here because I don't want to spill that all over the place.
That, well, and it's hot, so you don't want to burn yourself. Enjoy your nap. Hot tea, the best. All right. So in order for mages to connect to the power, they can infuse into sources or to subsequently connect to the sources. So in order for mages to connect with the power, they have to manifest mage talent, which is innate and usually awakens around the time of puberty. So not everyone can do magic, but no one knows for sure what exactly causes a connection to magic to occur. So this is pretty straightforward. We have the fire school, we have air school, we have water school, earth school, light, shadow, which are together, and we have force. Then we also have forbidden magic. Can you zoom in more so it's easier to read what you're writing? I can't. I'm basically saying everything that I'm writing out loud, but I don't think this program has a zoom function. It's old. I'm not using the new version of Word, I'm using the 2007 version of Word. I can try to make it slightly bigger on the stream, but that might make it blurry. How is that? Is that better or worse? Do you belong to the Twitch Writers Network? I am in the Twitch Writers Network Discord. I don't know if that qualifies me as a member, question mark. I'm aware of the Twitch Writers Network. I hang out with a bunch of them. I don't know if I am, like, official in any way. I don't want to say yes to something and then be told later, no, you've not gone through the vetting process. Usually I don't necessarily make the writing specifically readable because I don't necessarily want people to read it. It's more just so that you can see that I'm adding to something. In this case, I'm reading everything I type out loud, so pretty much everything that's in this document is something that I've said already. If that helps. So fire magic, I mean, all of the elements are pretty straightforward. I'm thinking that there's probably a few things that aren't necessarily, yeah, to stop Wolf from reading literally everything, but also not everything that I'm writing is really great, so I don't know why you'd want to read it. But I swear to you, I'm reading all of this out loud today, so. I'm thinking that most of these are pretty straightforward, but there might be a few surprising things. So fire is pretty straightforward. This is where you would find your fire starting, your fireballs, a lot of your typical like D&D spells, anything that involves controlling flames. I'm thinking fire mages are also adept at extinguishing flames, so they're probably the closest thing to like a fire department that you would have in this world. Probably they extinguish flames by actually drawing the power of the fire into their sources, so it's not necessarily a spell. And it would be anything that has to do with heat. But also to kind of turn things on the head, possibly the fire school also includes ice magic, because if we're talking about temperature control, then extreme heat and extreme cold are opposite ends of the spectrum in the same way that light and shadow are grouped together. So fire mages essentially play with temperature. So any spell... any school which involves the control of temperature. So their sources would be things like igneous rocks, possibly in cold temperatures, things like snow, although snow melts, so maybe ever cold snow, maybe enchanted snow so that it stays cold forever. Ashes, jars of ashes. And then they would infuse using things like fire, drawing energy from fire, storms, natural like snowstorms, blizzards, that sort of thing. I'm trying to think of what other physical objects they could use as sources. This doesn't have to be an exhaustive list, but I'd like to sort of have a good idea of where everything fits. They aren't going to be carrying around lighters because that kind of technology doesn't necessarily exist. So basically just a gist of some things that fall into the fire category. Air, again, pretty straightforward. This is going to be anything that is a gust of wind, anything that involves manipulation, probably breathing underwater, anything that would involve the manipulation of breath, so allowing people to breathe or preventing people from breathing, probably not really a popular spell, but that would fall into the air category. Anything that involves floating, levitation, flying, these are all manipulation of air, so these would all be from the air school. Things that people in the air school would use as focuses. Feathers is probably a really popular one because obviously birds fly. But I'm thinking also leaves. Possibly not necessarily a direct association, but that makes sense, the whole floating, levitating sort of thing. And probably leaves are what a lot of apprentice air mages use to practice, so probably leaves are a pretty common focus. Wind chimes would be a good one, because they could actually charge the wind chime by actually just putting it out on a windy day or in a windstorm. So that would be a good thing to use as a mage focus as well. Thanks for the advice and info and the stream. Catch you next time. Good night. Tiberian, thank you so much for hanging out. I really appreciate it. And take care. I hope to see you around. I like how Woof is just self-aware that I try to stop him from reading all my secrets. So yeah. And I think Windy Days is a good way to charge their sources. I'm trying to figure out what else. They probably have some kind of ritual that involves, you know, dropping things from a height to infuse it with air power. Possibly also breathing, like breathing energy into something as well. Coffee Quills, hello, how are you? I hope the writing is going well with your schools of magic. I know coffee is usually muted, so I'm just going to answer in the chat as well. Oh ho ho, they control how much oxygen in the air makes them more awake or enemy more fatigued. Exactly. So I think air mages is also where you're going to find your invisibility, because actually invisibility might be bending light, so I won't put that in air, but I would say creating clouds, and creating like anything that can obscure someone, like a fog cloud or that sort of thing. Cutesy Cat eating dinner. What are you having for dinner, Cutesy Cat? Just about to get brekkie. Nice. Most important meal of the day. Sleep schedule is flipped to all hell, but just finished a meeting, so I'm still awake. Oh no! The lady writes, thank you so much for the 10 bits! How are you? What are you up to today? Cauliflower mac and cheese, fake bacon, and popcorn. That sounds amazing, Cutesy Cat. That sounds delicious. I've not had cauliflower mac and cheese, but that sounds amazing. I'm gonna have to try that. Was gonna try staying awake until Ghost started, but I'm a GMT, so being 2 a.m. has me beat. Good night, Carbe. Thank you so much for hanging out. Ghost will really appreciate that you wanted to hang out in his stream. He does leave the VODs up, so you'll be able to check it out and see what he did tomorrow, even if you won't be able to talk to him. And I'll pass along that you say hey. It'll fix itself later on, I'm sure. I too have had the eventually I'll just pass out for 10 hours and then my sleep schedule will work again day. So air sources are feathers, are probably the most popular, especially if they come from a specifically magic bird. I don't know why I said specifically so weirdly. Leaves. I think also bells would be a good one for air mages to use as well. Water school, again, would be anything that involves water. So this would be weather manipulation as well, because most weather centers around water and the water ecosystem. So we'd have weather manipulation, storm magic. We would have anything that involves the manipulation of water. Probably there's some crossover here with ice that involves freezing water specifically. And then we would also have potions in this school of magic, because that would be infusing water with magical properties. I'm thinking water mages probably use for focuses vials of water. Probably drawn from specific sources, the more rare or remote or naturally powerful the source. So that high mountain spring that's really hard to get to probably has a lot of healing properties, is probably a very powerful source. So vials of water drawn from specific sources, and I'm thinking things like fish scales. Not necessarily, I don't think they would do things like cut the fin off a shark, because killing a sea creature probably isn't the best way to get a source, but anything that can be taken from a sea creature without killing it. So scales that have shaken loose from large sea creatures, things like whale and shark teeth, that kind of stuff that is sort of found naturally in nature. And they probably infuse their sources by letting them sit in running water, or the act of specifically drawing water a certain way from a source can also infuse it. Also, things like rainstorms would be very powerful for water mages. Rituals that involve boiling water, so tea ceremonies would probably be very popular among the water school, especially for potion brewing. Clamshell, yeah, shells is a good one too. They can dry their clothes really quickly. Exactly, Squanchy. I'm thinking too, like water mages would create your like your acid splash, right? They would put magic water in a bottle, you smash it, the spell splashes out, right? And I'm thinking there's a little bit of crossover between water mages and alchemy there. They would be like the chemists. Recharged. Oh yeah, I forgot. All right. Earth School. Clamshells, seahorns. They make enemies' hair really damp to annoy them. They could do that. People spend hours to do their hair and the water mage just ruins it. I bet that happens in mage school all the time, Squanchy. Again, not sarcasm. I can see that being a prank that water mages would play on their school companions. I might have to speed through these last few because I do have to go cook dinner for Ghost Pepper so that he can stream tonight. But not a worry. So Earth School, this is going to be your typical like earth elemental magic, anything that involves manipulation of earth and stone, anything that involves plant magic, anything that involves growing plants. So there'd be a lot of herbalism, probably a lot of tea. So again, a little crossover between earth and water magic. These are going to be your people who make poultices and specialized tea remedies and all that sort of thing. So it's not just like earth specifically. For focuses, again, probably leaves, plants, vines, flowers, dried flower petals, like preserved plants, tree bark, specific types of rocks, depending on the type of magic they want to use. And there's a wide variety here too. I'm thinking charms, enchantments, anything that involves infusing an object with magic is probably earth magic. And this is probably where some magical artifacts come from. Probably a lot more of that in the Force School. And in order to infuse objects with earth magic, there's probably a lot of ritual involved here. Polishing stones is probably one of the processes that they use. Also, probably the way in which plants are harvested or preserved or dried. You'd have a lot of herb witches in the Earth School, that sort of thing. Anything like the braiding of Like flower crowns could be used as a source. Anything like that would fall into the earth magic school. Whoops. Earth mages would also be able to find hidden spaces by testing the earth around them. They like their minerals and crystals. Exactly. Crystals are probably big mage focuses for Earth School. Let's see. All right. The light and shadow school is the same because, as we've talked about before, manipulating light also creates or dispels shadow. So anything that involves the manipulation of light is in the light area. This doesn't necessarily mean healing magic. That would actually probably come under the water and earth schools. I should actually add that to this, shouldn't I? So light would be anything that creates a blight flash, a bright flash, anything that creates darkness, manipulates the light level, anything like that. Also, this is where we have invisibility. We got a stretch from Halo Banshee and another hydrate. Thank you so much, Halo Banshee. I appreciate you taking care of me today, even though you got other stuff going on. Earth mages, the reason my houseplants keep dying could be Squanchy. So invisibility would be here, mirror image, anything that manipulates what you see, anything that bends the light. This is also where we get our illusion magic from. So anything that makes you see something that's not really there or experience something that's not really there. Light focuses probably involve also things like crystals. Stained glass is probably a big one, or glass, specifically glass like sculpted objects. And I'm thinking also anything that's associated with the moon or the stars. Even if it's not necessarily, obviously they're not going to have moon rocks, right? But any natural stones that are associated with moonlight, starlight, and probably they sometimes infuse their focuses by leaving them in the moonlight for a certain amount of time and leaving things in the sunlight for a certain amount of time. This is where you would get your sort of holy water, where water is purified by being left in the sun, or moon water being left under the moon. Anything that can reflect light, so mirrors would make good focuses as well, or dark mirrors, depending on what they want to do with it. And I'm thinking the small amount of divination magic that exists in this world, because there's not much, would fall under light, because you would be trying to see something in a mirror or a dark mirror. Light mage be fun at a disco party. Exactly, Squanchy. The Force School is a little bit different. We kind of talked about this already. It's primarily defensive magic, so this is anything that creates a force field or force shield in order to protect you from other magic or even physical things. So this is anything that is essentially just the movement of mage force. So this is non-elemental magic. It's not drawing on a specific type of energy from the environment. It would largely be using man-made objects for focuses. So things like a shield or an armor bracer, or a magical artifact. And this is probably where most of the magical artifacts are made. Anything that involves adding science and technology or crafted materials to magic, that's probably in the Force School. So the Force School is usually a secondary school chosen by many mages because it focuses in the defensive area. And then I'm not going to get too much into forbidden magic because obviously our characters won't really be practicing it, but we do have at least one character who has touched on the forbidden magic in the area. So I'm thinking anything that involves celestial manipulation, so trying to contact ancient beings of great power, generally considered forbidden. Blood magic, anything that involves having to torment or kill living creatures in order to infuse a source, is generally frowned upon. Anything that involves walking into a village and just blowing it up is probably frowned upon. The forbidden musclemancer, exactly. Actually, I think direct manipulation of the body is probably forbidden. Enhancement through magic is probably, again, considered a harmful practice and generally forbidden. So that's what we're going to do here. We're probably going to stop after that because these last few things are only going to be a few sentences. I'm thinking that basically mages offer their trade. Their trade is they work their magic for money, and that's sort of their trade network. And they probably have a magical system via which they send messages between each other. Or using, an enchanted bird network or whatever. And the current state of the Mage Council is that, like the Watchers, they are trying to manipulate Aleith, our main character, into fulfilling her prophecy in a certain way, a way that satisfies them. And basically, the Mage Council is afraid that divine magic is going to return. So they will do anything in their power to prevent divine magic from being a thing again. In the past, people had been able to channel power from divine sources, but again, extraplanar magic currently forbidden, and they don't want it to come back. So I'm going to fill in a couple more of these things here before we wrap up stream, and then we will do a quick raid, and I will go cook some dinner so that Ghost can get some food in him before he streams. Oh no, I put that in the wrong. This is where we have, this school of magic is where we have magical artifacts. So we have our telekinesis and our telepathy fall into the force school. Blocking. So we have force fields, mage shields, simple blasts, telekinesis, telepathy, imbuing of objects with magic to create artifacts. I feel like there was one more thing I was going to put under here. So what did we say? Forbidden magic is extraplanar contact, blood magic, and basically anything that is designed to directly cause harm. That's where we're going to stop for today. I basically talked about the rest. There's not going to be anything exciting in here, so I'll probably fill in these last few sentences off screen and just talk about them next time again. This has been super fun. I have so many ideas buzzing in my brain. I can't even. But I do have to stop. I'm running quite late. I have to go feed Ghost so that he can do his stream. So let's see. Don't forget muscle magic. That's definitely... Oh, yeah. Anything that involves enhancement of the body. Thank you, Squanchy. Let us see. I finished most of one whole character sheet. Nice! I'm working out some character history relationships. That's awesome, Bard. Let's see who is live. I'm gonna have to raid and run. I feel terrible about it, but I gotta go feed Ghost. Who is around? Who is around? We got a lot of RPG stuff happening. It looks like Travis Tavern is formatting a book. We could hop over there. Or we could drop in on our friend Sloth is playing Cult of the Lamb. We talked about it earlier. Let's read Travis. I haven't rated him in a while. Sorry, somebody sent me a... So let's drop in over with Travis. I hate to raid and run, but I gotta go cook some food. It's a friends to lovers cheesy Valentine's Day romance. So far, so they already have a history. Oh, Bard, I love it already. Please keep me updated on this project. I sincerely want to read it. I'm not just saying that. Please feel free to use any emotes you would like in the raid. I'm going to trigger it pretty quickly because I gotta go get dinner started. I don't think it'll take long to make, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to feed Ghost in time for his stream. So fingers and toes crossed. I got a little carried away there with some of that creation, but it was so much fun. Thank you to everyone who stopped by today. Bard, thank you for so many amazing donations. I can't say it enough. You're an amazing human, and I am so lucky that you are my friend. Thank you for the raids, the book editor, Sable Aradia, and also Anne-Marie K, author. Thank you so much for those raids. And to anyone who stuck around, hung out, suggested anything, you're all amazing. I will be back tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. doing more of this exact thing. Hopefully we're going to start actually outlining the plot of this novel. Vinyl, hello! I had so much fun. Ghost is going to be around later. Hopefully I'll get to talk to you. Take care, everybody. Again, thank you. You made this day amazing.
Act 1. If you're unfamiliar with the 3-act thing, let me know. Oh, look at Starborn Striker. What the hell is coming in the tea? I don't know if you've seen this. You might be amused. So, oh my god.